IVM.
News Kids on the Block. We bring to you stories that top the nation's papers, fresh from the IVM and Ascend International School Desk. Hi, I'm Kavya.
I'm Anya.
And I'm Trivik.
And welcome to this episode of News Kids on the Block, where we give you all the top news updates of the week. And this is going to be a very sports-revolved. We're all especially bubbly today, so you can look forward to that, this episode. Let's start. So the first story I have for you today is based on the Padma Awards that were announced for 2022. I'll just be going through some of the most important winners. No, they were all equally important, but some of the most well-known winners and some special mentions as well. I think one of the most interesting awards was the Padma Vibhushan Award. So the Padma Vibhushan Award was awarded posthumously to General Bipin Rawat. Posthumously means even after the death of a person. And the Padma Bhushan Award was awarded to the Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad and several others. Other major winners include Neeraj Chopra, the Olympic gold medalist of India, and the singer Sonu Nigam. And I think a really special one that I wanted to talk about was one that was awarded to Krishna Ella, Suchitra Ella, and Cyrus Poonawalla, who are respectively the owners of Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India, which are the companies that created the vaccines, Covaxin and Covishield, which are the vaccines in India. And I think at this time when we're fighting a global pandemic, there's nothing more relevant and nothing more important. So I think it goes without saying that we are super grateful to them for being such a big part of this and being such a big part of India's fight against COVID.
Yeah, Kavya, thank you so much. Our next story for you today is about Smriti Mandhana, who was named the ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year. Every year, the ICC announces these awards for men and women. In the women's category, there's an overall best cricketer. Then there's a T20 and an ODI award as well. For men's cricket, there's an ODI, T20 and Test cricketer. Last year, actually, they had Test cricketers of the decade, so there were a lot more awards. But this year, Smriti Mandhana, like I said, was named the ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year. She is only the second player after Elise Perry, the Australian all-rounder, to win this, the highest, the overall category, which is what she's won, more than once in the ICC awards. This year, she was also nominated for the Women's T20 International Player of the Year, but that was taken away by the English opener Tammy Beaumont. The Women's ODI Cricketer of the Year was taken away by Lizzy Lee, the South African batter. She's the only other Indian woman to ever win an ICC annual award after Jhulan Goswami. And she said that I am truly honored for receiving the prestigious Rachel Hayhoe Flynn Trophy for the ICC Women's Cricketer of the Year 2021. I am grateful to my teammates, my coaches, my family, friends, and fans who believed in my potential and supported me in this journey. And she also said she is looking forward to 2022 with a clear focus on winning the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2022 in New Zealand, which will be starting in a few months. The Indian women team has reached Auckland and they will be playing a few matches against New Zealand before they go on to this. In 2018, Smriti Mandhana had finished on top of the run chart in women's ODIs with 669 runs at an average of 66.9, and she became the third highest scorer in T20 internationals with 622 runs at a strike rate of 130.67. I think the highlight of the cricket that she played this year was her test, was the 100 that she made in the women's day-night test versus England. I thought that was just absolutely spectacular. In other news from the women's cricket team, Shefali Verma has regained her position as the number one women's T20 batter, which is very, very exciting because it's no secret that she's my favorite player. And I think that this is a really good way for the women's cricket team to start off the year 2022, and we can expect and look forward to some great things. With that, we'll take a short break.
You're the people pleaser, right?
Oh, yes.
Or then desperately seeking the one? Or wait, you're the one who doesn't think they're ever good enough. So much drama. And for what? Is it doing you any good? Listen to me. I'm Chetna, your favorite positive action coach. Yes, I'm the one who has been dropping all those truth bombs on every episode.
Oh no.
And it's time you learn to say no to drama. That's also what my podcast is called. And a new episode is out every Monday and Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, as well as all major podcasting platforms.
Welcome back to News Kids, or should I say Sports Kids on the Block, as we've got 3 sports stories coming up for you right now. starting off with my review on the AFCON. The group stages have just concluded. AFCON is the African Cup of Nations. For those of you who don't know, it is taking place this winter, and the teams which have made it out of the group so far: Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Guinea, Morocco, Gabon, Nigeria, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Equatorial Guinea, Mali, and Gambia. Notable misses include Ghana and Zimbabwe, Cape Verde. These are some of the teams that did not make it out the group stages, and the tournament is picking up pace. A lot of teams now have also played their round of 16 matches, as one of the favorites, arguably Nigeria, was knocked out earlier this week to the giants that are Tunisia, who played in one of the playoff matches to try in an attempt to qualify for the last round. They have qualified to the quarters now. The tournament is really picking up pace and it is gaining recognition worldwide. I really recommend you to tune in, as it has been a cracking tournament so far, and I expect nothing less from the remaining rounds.
Thanks for that, Trivik. That was some really interesting news from Africa. Our next story for you today is about the AFC, or the Asian Football Championship, the Women's Asian Cup, where unfortunately India was forced to withdraw from that after a COVID-19 outbreak and effectively from the World Cup. What essentially happened is that there were a few positive cases a few minutes, very cryptically announced before their match against Chinese Taipei, and India was unable to put together a 13-member squad for the match, which forced them to withdraw themselves. A quote from an ESPN article says that the last time they made it via merit was 19 years ago. This is not a chance that may come anytime soon, and there certainly isn't on the ground bottom-up work being done to make sure that it does. The players all said that they were devastated, speechless, and heartbroken, as they should be, because the All India Football Federation had promised a longer Indian Women's League this year. However, they haven't really gone about creating that. Some states have created their intra-state leagues, like for example the Kerala League, but that's not necessarily the case for women's football, and with limited opportunities to play at this high media level, and at a place where, like the Asia Cup, their sort of place in the next few years or by the next World Cup is being put into question. They had drawn against Iran, and because of that they were essentially forced to exit the tournament. So it's really sad, and there are only 3 teams in Group A to ensure uniformity for all of the third place teams in all of the other groups. The AFC has said that the results of the matches in Group B and C between the first, second, and third place teams and the fourth place teams will not be counted, which could impact the ratios when it comes to the goal difference. But yes, it also does mean that India's first point that they scored against Iran will be chalked off. With that, we will pass it on to Kavya for our next story.
For my next story, I think you guys have probably heard that this IPL season, there are 2 new teams that will be joining the league, which will be Ahmedabad and Lucknow. And they have announced their draft picks and captains. So I thought it'd be interesting to discuss that with you guys today. So let's start off with Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad has picked Hardik Pandya to be the captain and lead their team to victory. I think it's a good choice because Hardik has been a part of the Indian team for several years now. And I think he's really understood and seen what it takes to be a good leader and what it takes to lead a team to success. So I think he's a pretty good choice. I just hope that he's had some trouble in the past with his shoulder and his back. So I hope that doesn't get in the way of him leading his team. The Ahmedabad franchise has also picked the Afghanistan leg spinner Rashid Khan as their second draft pick, which goes without saying he is one of the greatest of all time. So I think it's a really good decision on their part, and I'm sure will be integral to the team's overall success. And the last draft pick was the young Indian opener Shubman Gill, who I think has shown a lot of potential. He is very young and has a long way to go. But like I said, a lot of potential. And I think he can prove to be real key. Moving on to Lucknow. Lucknow has named KL Rahul as their upcoming captain. Once again, he has got years of experience behind him in captaining the Punjab Kings. He's also been captaining the Indian team recently. So I think a lot of experience behind him, and he really does know his stuff. Their second draft pick is the Australian all-rounder Marcus Joyness. I think, personally, in my opinion, out of all the people that I could have chosen, he would have not been the one that I'd gone with. But I think he does have a lot of potential. He is an all-rounder, and he is really good at what he does. And the last third draft pick for the Lucknow franchise, which I'm sure Anya was ecstatic to hear about, was Ravi Bishnoi. another young leg spinner. He has played pretty well for Punjab Kings in the past. I'm sure that he must have been really, really honored to be picked as a draft pick, considering that he's so young and has such a long way ahead of him. But I think the thing that hit me the hardest was the fact that players like Hardik Pandya and KL Rahul, who have been a part of their previous franchises, Mumbai Indians and Punjab Kings, for so long, now aren't anymore. And I think it just really, it hits you hard when you think of it, because it's like, I don't even know how many years KL Rahul has been a part of Punjab Kings. So I think the fact that he won't be with them anymore is going to be really hard to get used to. And Lucknow has also announced that their team name is going to be Lucknow Super Giants, which is what the year that Pune was in the IPL, their name was Pune Super Giants. So they will be the Lucknow Super Giants. And I think they both have got really interesting draft picks. And I'm really interested to see how the auction pans out in the start of February. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. And with that, we shall be taking a short break.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet talks to Prem Misri. Prem is the director and producer of the MX Player original web series Campus Diaries. On Shunya One, Shiladitya and I speak to Shashank Mehta. He's the founder and CEO at The Whole Truth Foods about various trades in the D2C food industry. Keep an eye on that series. We're going to be talking to a number of different entrepreneurs from the D2C space. On IVM Likes, our producers compare their experience studying across the various curriculums of ICSE, CBSE and SSE boards. On Say No to Drama, Chetna tells us how not to be disappointed when things don't go your way, and the importance of surrendering. And on the Life Manifesto, Zarina introduces us to the Wu-Wei philosophy from ancient Chinese Taoism. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. And also remember, you can check out a lot of our stuff on YouTube. Go to ivmpodcast.com/YouTube and you'll get a list of all the various channels that we do have. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back to News Kids on the Block. I'm your co-host Trivik Hariharan, and we have your favorite segment this week. We're doing recommendations. You're going to get more recommendations from our impeccable taste, and we will start off with Ms. Daftary herself. Daftary, what have you got for us today?
Ms. Daftary. So you guys said like songs, TV shows, the works, right? I'm currently struggling to find a TV show to watch, which is kind of sad. So I don't have one. My 3 song recommendations are: 1, I have recently been suffering from this little thing we call first world existential problems and heartbreak. So I have been listening to a lot of AP Dhillon. So I highly recommend Tere Te by AP Dhillon and Gurinder Gill. The second song that I really have been enjoying is London is Lonely by Holly Humberstone. And the third one is from an upcoming EP by Amrit Ramnath. And it's a song called Jago by Amira Gill and Amrit Ramnath featuring MS Krishna. And it's really good. And it's like got like classical vibes, be uplifting. But yeah, these are some songs that I've been playing a lot recently.
Okay, I'll go next. I have been receiving several complaints, especially from my parents, that I shouldn't talk about only Taylor Swift. So I decided today I'm going to give you guys 3 songs that aren't Taylor Swift. They are all sad songs because it's practically the music I listen to. But the first one is called White Roses by Greyson Chance. It is such a good song. Like, I've been listening to it on repeat and the lyrics are so good. Like, you guys have to listen to it. Secondly, a song called Apple Pie by Lizzy McAlpine. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Lizzy McAlpine. It's a very nostalgic song. Like, I don't know what about it is so nostalgic, but it really just I feel like I'm going back to 5th grade and listening to this in the car. And the last song it's a song that's been gaining a lot of popularity lately. It's by Ingrid Andress, called More Hearts Than Mine. Great song, good lyrics, just the overall package. So I suggest you guys go listen to my recommendations because they are obviously better than Trivik and Anya's. And yeah,
I've got a recommendation for you guys, and it is called Till Kingdom Come. It is a song by Coldplay, and it's not actually a new song by any means, but it is a big song, and I think that you guys will really like it. It picks up, the pace of the song picks up a bit later on, but it's not exactly a very upbeat song. I'm in my sad Kavya hours right now, but it is a good song, and I highly recommend you all listen to it.
Anyways, that's all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of News Kids on the Block. Don't forget to tune in to us every Friday for our fresh take on the news from across the globe.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other podcasts on the IVM network.
You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram.
We'll see you next week. But till then, do share this episode with your folks. Stay safe. And don't forget to do your homework.
What is the workplace and how does your gender and body affect your right at work? Hey, I'm Priya Mirza, and on the Longest Constitution podcast, we critically examine the vision of the Indian Constitution and laws. In season 1, we looked at sex, gender, sexuality in India, and the landmark judgments which transformed our rights as citizens in this country. In season 2, we discussed the laws which shape the workplace and examine how ability, competence, and merit impact us, and much more. Join me, Priya Mirza, every Wednesday only on the IVM Podcast app, website, and all the major podcast streaming platforms.
सफर, रास्ते, मंजिल और मुकाम अक्सर ये हमसे कुछ कहना चाहते हैं, पर हम हैं कि अपनी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में इन्हें सुनने से कतराते हैं। नमस्ते दोस्तों, मेरा नाम है केशव चतुर्वेदी और मैं आपको ले चलूंगा कुछ ऐसे सफर पर जहां आपको एक नया नजरिया मिलेगा सफर और मंजिलों को देखने का। आइए इन किस्से कहानियों में डूब जाएं। हर मंगलवार और शुक्रवार